Okay, hello.
So, sorry. Okay, so now we're back. So, I was just something that just came to my mind. One of the other things that I observed with one of the other guys that I spoke with, I asked him about his education, his past previous education, and I asked him if he had graduated high school because we were reading something together. I realized that his reading was a little bit behind. Not that there was anything wrong with that, but I just out of curiosity asked if he had graduated high school. He said no, and I asked him if he had pursued education services since being in the jail. He said that he had requested it, and I asked him if he would show me the request that he had put in to pursue education services, whether it be a GED or not.
Mhm.
Well, when we looked on the kiosk, it said that the inmate was no longer in custody, and I've gotten the same response in some of my grievances that I've written, which brings to question, how can someone be sending you a grievance or a complaint if they're not in your custody? It doesn't make sense. So, and that's, now we're talking about someone being denied access to education services, and that's a big thing. We already know that the United States is behind in our education system. We already know that our test scores are low. Why are we not encouraging people, especially people that are in high risk, a high risk minority, to be able to get their education and to get further in life? That's a big thing, and that's something that I'm going to stick to, because I don't think that's a joke. I think that that is a problem. That's why things are the way they are now, with people not having jobs, the homeless rates, the homeless encampments that we have throughout our city. It has to start somewhere.
True.
And then there's just so many things that we could sit and talk about, and I want to talk about all of them because I think they're all important, and I think that they're affecting so many people within this jail, and I just don't even know where to begin. So if you have any ideas, please jump out there, because I know we've talked a lot about them in the past, and I want to touch base on them all if we can.
Oh, also about the thing of not being in their system. Jet also in their system for Jet it says bonded out.
Oh yeah, so that's another very good point that has actually kind of taken effect, taken place with my situation too. So I know that Jet finally was able to get a bond. He's got some false charges that have been brought against him, and he's been litigating those charges for a while now, and finally he's gotten some he's made some progress in that, and I know he's happy about that, but he's still deferred because he's obviously still in custody.
Mhm.
So one of the things that this jail has been known to do, and I don't know how it happens, but they tell someone, okay, this is your bond. Your bond is $50,000. Prime example is my case. I have a $50,000 bond. I know for a fact that I have another charge in another county, which would mean that I have a hold from that county.
Mhm.
But when I speak to the public defender that's representing me, they tell me you have no holds. So what happens next? Well, for people who don't know how it works, what would happen was my partner would go and he would post that bond, whether he posts the full $50,000 or whether he posts 12% of that, or whether he posts or put up a property bond, right?
Mhm.
Well, then you would be expecting that I would be released. No, after you paid that money, given up that money, you later find out that you have a hold, and then now it comes up in the system, right? So
Mhm.
that for that reason is why a lot of people have asked me, Alonzo, why haven't you bonded out? Why have you left that place? I've been through this situation before. In 2018, I had a charge for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That case is over with now. I don't mind talking about it. In that case, I bonded out. My godparents, who are very close to me, put up a lot of money. They posted my full entire bond. They came to the jail. They posted the full amount of the bond. And after posting that money, I was expected to be released. I was released, but when I had my arraignment, the court found me guilty of my charge, and they sentenced me to 2.5 years. That money was lost, and I was put back in jail, and I had to serve the full 2.5 years to the door. There's nothing right about that. There's nothing right about taking people's hard-earned money and giving them the impression that they're going to get the outcome that they want, but only later telling them, oh, well, that we can't right now because that person has a hold that's just now showing up in our system. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that for a moment, and I think it's just the city trying to get money out of people. And you and Jet just had that same experience happen with you all, where you posted his bond, and that bond wasn't easy to make. I know we talked about it before.
Mhm.
You've got several children that you're trying to survive for, and you've got him, and you've obviously got yourself, and so I'm sure money's tight, and it's not easy right now,
Mhm.
So to have to come up with several $1,000s to put a gift up on someone's bond, and then that person expecting to come home, and I can't. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I can't even imagine having a husband and children and having gone through all that work to get my husband home, and then to find out that he's not coming home because of something falsified against him, or because of something that just is seems that it's just now coming up in the system. That's completely unacceptable. And if it's not, if it's going to be that way, fine, give me my money back and let me go on about my way and figure out what I need to do next. But that's not what they offered you, is it?
No, what they said was originally they were supposed to give him the money back because he wasn't being released because of the hold. And then the whole talking, okay, well, we do the refunds on Tuesdays. Okay, I called Tuesday. Nobody answered. It was like they wasn't answering my phone calls for like days. And then when I finally got a hold to the supervisor there, she says, "Oh well, someone says that they sent you a message saying that the bond is still active, so we can't refund it." What?
You know what I mean? Exactly. And we'll just delve into that a little deeper, right? So me and Jet spoke about y'all's situation in this case, and we were just yesterday we were trying to figure out what the next step for him needs to be. It is debilitating to me, I imagine, for him and you in your situation and your children to be in a place where you don't know what you need to do next. He expressed to me that his current attorney has some physical ailment. I think he's blind or maybe like vision impaired,
Something like
and
that.
I
Yeah.
think yeah, and he took your guy's case for a fairly low amount, lower than normal, right?
Mhm.
And as now he's wanting more money, and now that he's been on the case, well, that raises a lot of concern because we all three, and from what the judges that have seen the case, and the attorneys, the DA that's dealt with the case, and everyone who's been following his case knows the things that are being brought against him are false. So in reality, it should only be as simple as filing a motion for a dismissal. So
Simple, simple task.
why are you guys paying? Yeah. So why are you guys paying thousands of dollars to a lawyer to continue working a case that could have been dealt with so long ago? You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just it is this thing where it's like a loan shark or some sort of like pyramid scheme. It's like they're trying to just collect more money from people who are in really serious situations, with very real children that really need food in their stomachs, and a real wife who's doing all she can for her husband, and a husband who is really going through the work in the place that he's at while he's waiting for the outcome of his situation. And and there's a lot of situations like that in this jail. There's a lot of them. I can't tell you how many men I've spoken to about their charges, about their cases. They've got charges against them that are they're just outrageous. They're outrageous. I mean, even my own charges, if I could talk about them, I would. But it when you see the way that DeKalb County functions, and you look at other counties, and you look at their the rate at the certainty they're sending people to prison, and their conviction rate, and it's just extremely high, and it makes you wonder, what are they doing so differently than all these other counties? They don't have any more. They claim that they're understaffed, but yet they have such a high conviction rate. It doesn't make
I
sense. It just doesn't make sense.
I actually just found out the Cab County was privately owned yesterday.
The Carroll County is a privately owned and run jail.
I
I knew
I didn't
that.
know
I've
that.
known that for a while, and it hasn't always been that way, but it is now. And essentially, what that entails is that the DeKalb County Jail has a board of investors who are people from the DeKalb County community, um, more than likely people that have a lot of money that invest their money into the jail. I actually, on the floor I just came from, they did a walkthrough where, okay, so I don't know if Jet told you, they came in, they did a lot of painting, right? A lot of like cosmetic painting. They
Mhm.
didn't really fix anything. They just did things that were visible from outside of our pod, right? So like
Yeah.
you could walk past the windows and you could look in, and it would look like from the outside perspective, like everything was good, right? And it just looks like neat, and like everything's been painted well. Um, so when they did this, it was the same, like not even a week after they had done it on the floor I was on. They brought a whole team of lieutenants and captains in. They lined them up around the tower. The California jail consists of several towers that have like a central room in between
Mhm.
So, and they just walked around in a circle and observed what we were doing, what it looked like inside our pods, and I'm assuming they were probably satisfied because, of course, it looks visually appealing from out there. But when you come in and you get close up, and you look inside the cells and you see how disgusting it really is, and you see all the tile missing, and you see all the flooding, and you see all the graffiti on the wall, and you see all the doors that don't work, and you see all the windows that have been busted out, you start to realize that they're really just trying to give this good impression that really isn't there. And then there's, I don't know if you know, but one of the things that they've been doing here on the back side of the jail, not the side of the jail that faces the main street, but the side that faces the Cobb County Sanitation Center that's behind the jail,
Mhm.
they actually went as far as boarding the windows with steel plates. So the floor I just come from has absolutely 0% sunlight coming in through the windows. The windows are been busted out by inmates, no doubt, which is not. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but at the same time, I don't think that the proper resolution is taking sunlight from people, right? So there's no view of the outside, and I don't think I can think of anything that's been more depressing and has given me the most fatigue. And all the time I've been in here, and waking up every day to see a steel plate over a window on my wall, and it caused other issues. Okay, so if anyone knows anything about steel and precious metals, right? When steel gets cold, it sweats, right?
Mhm.
So what I observed was that when it was cold out just these past few months, all of that condensation brought moisture into the cells, and so now our walls are literally leaking, right? Because they have no way to ventilate. They have no ventilation, and they have no sunlight coming in to dry the water. The walls leak, and then that water just leaks down to the ground, and it just puddles up, and it just puddles up on the floor, and so you're just literally walking through puddles of water because of this. And so it just lets you know that they didn't think it through very well, and when they realized also that steel rusts almost right immediately, right? Because it takes on to rust really quickly. When they realized that it started to rust in a matter of weeks after doing what they did, they came in and obviously painted over it. So who paints over, it's just, the solution is to just paint over rust or black mold, which there's also black mold. It's not a proper resolution. It's almost comical. It's almost comical to me because they're actually getting away with it, and people aren't even pursuing wanting to know what the reality is, or what really is, what there really is to know.
Mhm.
So, but it's crazy.
And it's just like, how can you invest in something so cruel to people? Like, I understand, some people may actually deal what they are in there for, maybe not. But it's the point. You don't treat people like animals and then expect to get like a good outcome from what you're doing.
Right. And I'll tell you how they do it. It's as easy as a pinstripe. It's as easy as a pinstripe on a check, and they've proven that time and time again with the Cobb County. And one of the things that I know that the Cobb County does is that they cover their tracks really well. Obviously, they were smart enough to operate as a private jail because they give them a certain level of privacy and a certain level of security, meaning that they don't have to just openly share these details with people, right? But like I said earlier in this recording, that doesn't mean that that information is inaccessible to you, right? All of these things that I'm saying, and all of these things that we're discussing are all can easily be found out by anyone off of the street and it just takes the time to listen. Any news reporter can call out here and ask to come in to do a walkthrough. Any person, anyone can. There's nothing about any incident, any fights that have happened. You can see the videos of it the same way they show the video of the guy who died. He was on the phone and you can see him fall over and you can see the inmate carrying him into his cell. You can see fights. You can see the stabbings that have happened. All of them. There's been numerous. There's countless. They happen daily. You can see any of those video recordings that they have, all that surveillance footage. It's accessible. All you have to do is look into it and ask for it.
I honestly didn't know that. Because, like, when you call up there and try to ask for certain information, when you talk to guards, everybody acts like they don't know anything.
And they don't, and that's the crazy thing. The reality is that they don't. I'm not going to disclose the officer's name because I assured her that I would not. I will say she's a female officer, and I will say that she works for the tactical team. But when I spoke with her privately on one occasion, we had a discussion where she expressed that she understood the struggle that we were going through, and she expressed that she didn't agree with it, but she honestly just seemed like she didn't know what to do, and she was open to ideas. And I told her that I didn't know what we could do then, but to just keep her ears open, that hopefully something will come, and that when she sees it, get behind it, because that's the only opportunity that we're going to get, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We talked to that reporter before. I gave her, it's not, I have nothing against her. I know that she has, and this is my thing, and I'm going to say this to people who are listening, or to people that hear this. I understand that this is not the only issue in the world. And, you know, my mom is a civil rights activist. A lifetime, it's her lifetime job. It's what she loves. It's what she's done. It's what she's amazing at, right? I understand that there are things in the world that are happening that are far worse than this. I understand that there are countries that are in turmoil. There are people that are dying daily in places by means that are completely avoidable. But we are in the United States. We have the control to control what's going on here. And the only time that we lose that control is when we stop paying attention to what's happening in our backyard. Okay, we have a good president in office. He's making some good changes, and I think that all we need to do is maybe get his attention, maybe get the attention of just the community. I think it's something we can handle ourselves as a community. Honestly, it doesn't even need to go as far as to the federal government. If people in our own community took the initiative of paying attention to these things, it would not be the way it is now, right? The DeKalb County Jail is, I've been to one of the jail, and I would say that out of the two, DeKalb County Jail is hated among all the people I've ever met in this jail. It's not the staff. I won't say it's staff. It is the staff. It's a mix of the staff and proper staff, right? The people who are in positions of authority within the jail that shouldn't be in positions of authority. I understand that the jobs that they do are not easy, and they're probably frustrated. I understand that the inmates are not easy to deal with, and that's understandable. But that doesn't negate the fact of what's inhumane that's happening, right? People still have a right to be safe. People still have a right to make it to their day of judgment in court. But you've got people that are not making it. You've got people that are getting to court and they're beaten up and they're bruised and they're battered, or they're afraid, or they've been made to feel like they can't talk, so they can't express how they feel about what's going on. And that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not justice, and that's not how the justice system works. And so you've seen a lot, I'm sure of it. Me and Jet were just talking about this yesterday. I actually want to share this story with you. I wonder if you know about it. I'm going to give you his name. His name is Officer Bailey. He was one of the officers on the technical team for it's called the Just Team. That's the DeKalb County Jail's technical team. He was just recently found guilty, and he was just recently arrested for, I want to say it was grand theft, because he basically made off with $800 worth of groceries from a grocery store, and that was like what exactly example what me and Jet were talking about. You can put a badge on anyone. Anyone can wear a badge, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was just all over the news, so anyone can. I'm not lying to you. You can look it up yourself and find it. His name is Alonzo Bailey. He got a charge. I'm not sure exactly what the charge was, but it was something along the lines of like shoplifting. He made off with $800 from a grocery store, and they arrested him for it. He came in and out of jail within one day, which is crazy to me because you've got people that come in here for traffic violations that sit here for 3 to 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show anyone can commit a crime.
You have 1 minute left.
You've got people in here that are perfectly educated, highly educated, and are just no different than any of the people that work here, but they're being treated like people that Trump is trying to send to, foreign countries that are illegal aliens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That have actual serious crimes, and they're not serious. You want to pause? I can call you back.
It's up to you.
Okay. I want to just talk more about your situation. I'm gonna call back and we'll go into that.
Okay.